Welcome to One Tired Teacher, episode 252. 3 questions every teacher asks at the start of the year and real answers that help. So today we are going to break it down and we're going to talk about the beginning of the year. We are at the end of July. So back to school is either about to happen for you next week or it's happening very soon. And now we have no choice. We got to get into it. So the start of the school year, it brings fresh notebooks, new names to learn, and a whole bunch of questions that every teacher, new or seasoned, asks. Today, we're tackling 3 of the most common beginning of the year questions, and I've got honest, heart-centered answers to help you breathe a little easier. So let's jump in.
Welcome to One Tired Teacher. And even though she may need a nap, this teacher is ready to wake up and speak her truth about the trials and treasures of teaching. Here she is, wide awake. Wait, she's not asleep right now, is she? She is awake, right? Okay. From Trina Debery Teaching and Learning, your host, Trina Debery.
Hey, so we're talking, you got questions? I've got some answers for you. So let's just get right to it. So here's a question that I often hear and I've heard for so many years, and that is, what routines should I teach first? Okay, so you want to start with what they need to do every single day. The necessary things, whether it's like how they enter the classroom. What are they doing when they enter the classroom? Are they just coming right in? Are you at the door? Do they come to bell work? Do they start with a soft start? What are they doing when they first come in? And what do you want this to look like? Also, lining up. This is a big one for most people. Like most principals and schools have the expectation that you're going to walk down the hall quietly in a single file line. And I don't think that's changed much. I feel like that they've been doing that for like forever, for hundreds of years. That's what it feels like. I always wonder what it would be like if kids were just walking in a group down the hall, just chatting casually. It would probably be mass chaos. But anyway, so what do you want it to look like for lining up? How about using supplies? Like, are you going to have team supplies, individual supplies? Is there like a limit to how many times they can get a new pencil or sharpen their pencil? Or are they allowed to get up in the middle of you speaking? What about having to go to the bathroom? What's your procedure with the bathroom and getting water and things like that? Like, those are the kind of things that you want to focus on right away. And also, what's your procedure for them asking a question or for them needing help? Let me give you one. That's one of my favorites. And it is 3 before me. That's what it's called. 3 before me. That means that the child who has a question has to ask 3 other people the question first. And they might have the answer and then it's solved. Once they've asked 3 people and all 3 of those people don't know the answer, those 3 people and the child with the question then can come to you or raise their hands together with the question. This saves you so much aggravation and you don't have to answer every teeny tiny ridiculous question all day long. So I think 3 before me is like a miracle worker. And then I would even say to the child, if they came to me without the 3 people, did you ask 3 before me? And if they're like, but, did you ask 3 before me? Or unless it's an absolute like dire emergency, that would be a little bit different. But even then, they could be like, I'm bleeding to 3 other people. And they go, okay, let's go. And if you've practiced this procedure, it works like a charm. So that's one I recommend. But you want to keep it simple and you want to practice often. You want to make practicing fun too, because that way they'll remember it. I always do like a really specific non-example of something. Like I completely go off the other end of the, spectrum with my behavior of like this, I'm like dragging my feet to the line, or I'm talking or yelling or pushing or shoving. Like I want them to see a non-example and they also think it's funny when I'm acting like this. And then I want them to see a really good example. And then I let kids show a really good example. So practicing is so important. They're not going to be able to remember if they haven't practiced. And if you notice that something is broken down, you can stop, show it again, model it again, teach it again, and then allow them to practice again as many times as it takes. Something to remember. Procedures are the glue that holds your day together. Pick your top 3 and teach them like content. Model them, practice them, repeat them. You can always add more later. So that is exactly what I would say to start with. All right, let's talk about question number 2. How do I handle behaviors without feeling like a drill sergeant? Some people will really worry about being or coming across as mean. And I know some people's attitude about that is like, I want them to be scared of me in the beginning. And I want them to, I'm going to come across as harsh and, disciplined in the beginning. And then I relax a little. And if that's your style, you do you. For me, I'm like, no, I want them to respect me. I know they're going to be so much better behaved if they respect and love me. And that comes from me respecting and loving them. That's a huge one. So you don't need to be harsh to be firm. And kids crave boundaries and connection. Focus on clear expectations and kind consistency. That's why going over those procedures and routines in the beginning is so important, because you've set the expectation. Now, if they don't follow the expectation, then we're going to deal with the consequence of that. But let me remind you of the expectation. Can we try again? It goes much farther than you didn't do that. That's it. You're out of here or whatever. So just be aware of that. You want to narrate the positives that you see. I see so-and-so doing this, like that whole language. Sometimes it feels so ridiculous. And you don't have to say it like that. You can be like, I love that you picked up your pencil and you were ready to go. I really appreciate that, Timmy. That's really helpful. And then you carry on. You want to, and some kids are really, they get embarrassed by that. So we have to be careful of that too, because we don't want to call kids out that we don't know yet. We don't know their personality. Maybe we just do a gentle, like, pat on the back and we walk past them. Or I have these cones of success. They look like little traffic cones. And I used to use them in my classroom regularly. And they said things like, you're awesome, you're great, you're a superstar, way to go. That's what they said on the cones. And so they would get like cones of success, and they get to, I'd put it on their desk, and they get to keep it there for however long. In some cases it was an hour, some cases it was the day. It just really depends on how, how it works for you. But anyway, so you want to focus on clear expectations, and you want to be kind and consistent. And you want, like I said, you want to narrate the positives. You want to redirect gently and build relationships from day one. They will be so much better for you if they love you. They will be so much better for you. When they know that you care about them, they will rise to meet you. Most of the time. Now, that's not true all the time. I mean, we still have people that sometimes can't help themselves, or sometimes it doesn't seem like they care. But there's always underlying reasons for why it feels that way or why it seems that way. So most of the time, they want to rise to the occasion. And when they don't, that's okay. It is a process. It might require repeating and practicing again. All right. And so question number 3, what if I already feel behind? Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. If you were listening to this podcast in June, at the end of June, because, I've taken a break. I've taken a long break. I don't even think I said I was going to, but I took a long break in July. I took a couple of weeks off. So welcome back. But if you remember that episode, I was talking about how I had friends that would wait until the last second to come back when they had to. Like, they wouldn't step foot in the classroom before that because they were like, no way, I am going to fight, this as long as I can. So those people often did feel really behind. But this is the thing that I would remind them. You're not behind. You're beginning. The Pinterest perfect classrooms are not the norm, and real classrooms are built with time, love, and flexibility. If your bulletin board is crooked or your centers aren't ready yet, breathe. Your presence matters more than your prep. You're doing enough. You are enough. So that's the thing to keep in mind. We want to hold on to our boundaries, and that's okay. If your boundary is not to step foot into the classroom until it is time, then you hold on to your boundaries and you be okay with that. But you had to remind yourself, your classroom's going to look a little bit different than somebody that spent weeks in the classroom over the summer. But their boundaries are different. it's okay to have different boundaries. Everyone can do what works for them. Just remember, you are enough. All right, the questions will keep coming, but so will your confidence. Trust yourself. Take it one moment at a time, and remember, you are the magic in that classroom. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time. Until then, here's to calm hearts and strong starts. Until next time, sweet dreams and sleep tight.